Yeah. Just the stream starting now. We just won't play the intro video. See you, Brad. See you, Brad. Ah, come here. All right. Ready whenever you are, mate. If that's streaming. Um, yeah, hang on. Live timing's just gone up. Okay. Come up again. Okay, 3. Yep. 3, 2, 1. And you are live.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Checkered Flag e-streaming. It is Carl Wilkinson with you back in the studio tonight after a little bit of surgery, and I'm joined by Mr. Mark Johansson. Mark, how are you going, mate?
Yeah, good, Carl. Good to have you back, mate. We've definitely missed you. So, yeah, it's definitely good to see you back in the chair.
That's nice to be back. Absolutely. Got to enjoy some of the racing from the other side, watching it from my bed. And it's nice to be back up in my desk, sitting upright for a change. And here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, we're at Charlotte Roval. Of course, it is the road course variant. We've got about a minute left of the qualifying session to finish up. Just as we're waiting for that, though, we will quickly go through the championship positions as we head into the Virtual Motorsport Mentor the virtual motorsport went to 110 here at the Charlotte Roval. It's Toby Stent leading the championship, 12 points ahead of Daniel Hederscheid in second place. We've got Stevie Williams in third position, 34 points off the lead. 40 points down is Ruben Phelps with Manny Ray just behind him with 50 points off the lead. Jamie Curvis is 57 points down with Brad Fenley in 7th, 64 off the lead. 70 points down is Tristan Koch in 8th. Kobe Jordan, 9th, 74 off the lead. And 97 off the lead is Nathan Button in 10th. Championship for the teams after 4 rounds is Natari in the lead. 112 points ahead. Sorry, 122 points lead over Aussie Beer Motorsport. And in third position is Inside Lane Productions, 178 points down. Black Arrows in 4th, 180. And SRM 185 off in 5th position. So it's going to be an interesting one tonight, of course, on a road track. So it's going to be a slightly different race, and there'll be a few of those road course specialists out there trying to get the night done. We do not have, I don't see him in my list, last year's winner, Andrew Dyson, with us tonight. It was Dylan O'Shea last year, sorry. But going to be some interesting racing out here tonight. Some good road course drivers, and we've seen some good racing on the road courses. So let's go through the starting positions. It is Toby Stent taking pole position with Ruben Phelps in P2 tonight. On the second row is Daniel Hederscheid with Kai Turner. Watch out for Kai. He's been very strong on the road courses recently. Darren McKenzie, another driver that's had a really good turn recently, on row 3 with Lachlan Oakrio next to him. It's Matty Ray with Jai Schultz on the 4th row. 5th row sees Jake Savington and Daniel Johnson. On the 6th row is Simon Hederscheid, Adam Malone. 7th row, we've got Brenton Henderson and Aidan Schultz. 8th row, Mark Smith, Noddy Tompkins. 9th row is Brad Fenley, Kobe Jordan. 10th row sees Paul Drady with Norman Clark. 11th row is Adam Ariel, Ross Chatham, and rounding out the grid tonight is Brett Campbell in 12 on row 12. So we should be for an interesting one tonight, Mark. What's the temperature looking like out there? It's 26 degrees air temperature, 43 degrees track temperature, 110 in the old school. So 43 degree track temperature, Mark. That's going to be quite hot on the old tyres.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be hot. I haven't heard much about what the tyres are doing tonight, Carl, but generally around here, it's the fronts that tend to let go earlier than the backs. So we'll just have to wait and see. As you can see there, the race distance 30 laps, 110 k's or 68 miles. Tyre sets 4, so it's not a real long race. But if they burn these tyres up, it is going to hurt them.
No, absolutely.
And the fuel tank range is being cut in half tonight, so they've only got 10 gallons, and that'll give them a range of about 18 to 22 laps, Carl.
Yeah, that's going to change things up and make it a bit spicy for pit strategy, of course. One thing we have seen in this next gen, this new generation, Gen 6, I think we're at, with the Cup cars. Is that right? Gen 6? Gen 7.
Gen 7. Next gen.
Gen 7. Yeah. There's too many generations of things these days. You know, if you watch multiple motorsport categories, you're just stuck, aren't you, really? But these cars, they tend to have their tyres lasting pretty well. They're almost like they're not like the old school NASCAR sort of ones where they burn up their tyres quickly. You need to change them every time you come into pit lane. They're a bit more like GT3, GT4 car where you can do multiple stints on the tyres. Now, we've seen in a couple of races this week that, you know, double stinting the tyres can absolutely be done. And I think we'll see a few people doing that tonight with the possibly just getting an extra stint in there with the fuel and just sort of maybe keeping to the same tyres. Might see a few people changing to a set. The trouble with that, though, is you go onto a nice cold set of tyres, and these things are very hard to control on cold tyres. So expect to see a few drivers sticking it out on the older, slightly more warm but still hot tyres, because they will get a bit of an advantage with that for the first couple of laps at least after a pit stop. So it could bring some interesting strategies into the mix tonight. So we're going to look forward to that. And as we said, look out for those road course specialists, because there are a few out there. But we're coming up to the start-finish line in the very near future. We're just rounding turn number 14 right now. This big, long, which would be turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, 3 and 4, mate.
That's it. It's just a single turn, of course, on the Roval. So turn number 14. Wait, no, we're on turn 1, aren't we? We're still.
No, that's back straight. Sorry.
Yeah,
so we're about to come into the bus stop.
Yeah, that's right.
I knew where we were.
Yeah, we got lost ourselves. So we're coming up to turn 14 in the very near future, of course. Pace car out there doing its job, just keeping the cars together. On this little bit of a warm-up, though, it's not the full track. It does sort of give you a little bit of a... you sort of just get that time just to warm up your brakes a little bit, just to get the car up to speed and just get the tyres there as well. They'll be doing one full pace lap, and you'll see some drivers just dragging the brake a little bit in this respect, just to try and get some heat through their tyres, through the brake discs, of course. But we are coming up to the final little corner, this very tricky turn here. It's going to be Toby Stenfinatari leading us away here tonight at the Charlotte Roval. Ruben Phelps on the outside. I'm going to go quiet for a couple of seconds so we can hear these cars roar away here for round number 5 of the Australian of the Australian Stock Car Championships. And it looks like everybody has made it through those first couple of corners relatively safe, which is good and tricky to do, in fact, in these cars. It is very much tiptoes at the moment on this first lap as the tyres are still getting up to temperature. Drivers will just have to be so cautious on the throttle pedal. If they put their foot right to the floor, the car will absolutely loop around on them. So it is just a critical lap. You just got to get through this first lap, get up to temperature, and then you can start pushing a little bit. 30 laps, 29 to go here at Charlotte for round number 5. Of course, we are with the Virtual Motorsport Mentor 110 here at the Roval. You can tell I'm a bit rusty, can't you, Mark? I called it in the wrong series. So good start for the race. Everybody away safely.
Sorry, Mikhail, I had my mic turned off. So we everyone's through safely. But the interesting thing there is that we seen Jai Schultz start from pit lane. So might just seeing if we can pick up where he is.
Are you sure he started from pit lane?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, he did. So he's actually got a really good run now because he's up. He's managed to get himself up to P18. That's why I had to question that, because he's worked his way nicely through the field. Noddy Tompkins also starting off pit road. So there were 2 cars that started there, and Jai Schultz is making an absolute blast at the moment. He has got himself up past Ross Chatham at the moment, who I see is sporting a new livery and Rogue Sim Sports entry there. So it looks like they have got him on board to the team. Young driver there for 24, Ross Cheatham, a very good pickup for any team.
Yeah, definitely is, mate. He's come a long way. He's been a rookie to this series this year, but he has improved every race he's come out. So be interesting to see how he goes tonight. Just got to stay clean, because he is in the running for the rookie of the season. So and by memory, I do believe he's sitting second in those points.
Absolutely, he's had a stellar job this season, and he's definitely made a mark for himself. And a couple of rookie mistakes here and there, but he is going along nicely. Just up the field a little bit, good little battle starting to pan out between Ruben Phelps, Darren McKenzie just behind them as well. We've got Daniel Johnson, Lachlan Urquio, Simon Heddersheed. Those ones are looking pretty tasty at the moment for the front of the field. So I'm expecting some good little battles coming of that one. And I will just mention as well, Ross James, we did just put the curse of the commentator on him as well. He just had a bit of a lock-up in the final chicane. Everything is safe, everything is well, but he just lost a couple of positions. So in this early stage round the Roval, of course, you don't want to be pushing too hard. You just want to try and get the car in, get the tyres up to temperature in a nice, easy way. We talk about curing the tyres sometimes, as Lachlan Urquio just misses the bus stop there. And he's going to get a dreaded slow-down penalty for that, and he'll also get a couple of incident points next to his name. But you just want to cure the tyres. You don't want to push them too hard. You don't want them getting up to temperature too quickly, because that can cause them to be just really, really tricky for the rest of the races. Oh, big slide just behind this battle at the moment as Simon Heddersheed just makes the move on Daniel Johnson. Lachlan Urquio had a big slide, and now we're looking at Darren McKenzie putting a bit of pressure on Ruben Phelps. McKenzie has had a solid week so far on the road courses that we've been running between a couple of series, and he is looking to carry that on. They're just behind Kai Turner, another driver that has been doing really well this week on the road courses.
Yeah, definitely some good results for these guys through the week with Ann's car, both in the Thunder and the Cup Series. And yeah, it's looking like they're going to want to carry on with it. Toby and Daniel had a great result through the week. Unfortunately, they didn't get to where they wanted to be in the ASCC Cup race. They finished, what was it, Cole? I think it was 4th and 5th by memory.
Just outside the main bit. Jumping back a little bit further, Lachlan Urquio now having a big run on Daniel Johnson as Johnson makes a mistake into the bus stop. He was battling it out with Simon Heddersheed, and he just had to run a little bit wide, and that's given Urquio the chance to pass here.
Got a replay, mate.
Out nicely. There we go. You can just see him running wide there, and Urquio gets a really good run on him here, and will absolutely get past there. He's got the speed coming out of the bus stop there. Good battle going on here from 6th down to about 10th position. Some really good fights going on throughout the pack, and Was just looking as I was browsing through. Jai Schultz, as we mentioned, starting from pit road, he's up into 15th spot now with a snazzy new paint job on that car.
Yeah, it looks rather nice. The metallic teal there on the white car, so very good done. I do know these boys have been, or Kobe Jordan, the team boss, has been already working on paints for the Star Wars round, and I can tell you some of those paints look very nice.
They are out of this galaxy a long, far away, are they?
Mate, we're going to have to put you back through training school. You've really dropped the ball. You've definitely been out too long, but maybe it's because you've jumped straight back in and not eased your way back in. So we'll persevere. And like tonight, we've also had some more sound issues that we've had to sort out. But it's all good now. We are good to go.
Yeah, and luckily, other than the little bit of Mark talking before we started, the sound issues, they're all working out. Everything sounds properly, so it's nice to actually have a relatively smooth start to the evening. But yeah, it's been a bit tricky getting back in the hot seat because obviously getting back, especially for road course racing, it's not the easiest to call because there's a lot of action going on, a lot of different places you've got to look, and yeah, definitely makes me feel very much out of like I'm out of shape for the running tonight. So it's I've had to sort of get back to it.
Just see if we can pick up this battle between Ruben, Kyle, and Darren is really heating up as we see him come into the bus stop there. Ruben just gave Kai a touch up coming out on the exit of the inner circle there, and he just got a little bit sideways, but it looks like he's been okay.
Yeah, they are still side by side coming up to the final chicane. Ruben Phelps, Kai Turner, Darren McKenzie battling it out, and Kai Turner just gets it round. He had the inside line for that corner. He just gives the wall a little bit of a rub there. Not bad at all. And that's put Ruben in the wrong place at the wrong time now. He is on the outside for this corner. It's given Darren McKenzie the chance. Ruben keeps the car pointing in the right direction. He'll have the inside line now. Door rubbing between Phelps and McKenzie right there, side by side. And McKenzie gets the job done. Ruben Phelps, he managed to gain a position, but he ended up losing two, just being slightly off the right side off the line of the track. Just cost him a little bit of speed on the exit there, and just shows how quickly you can drop positions at the Charlotte Roval.
Yeah, definitely. What we might do too, Carl, is just talk about this gentleman here in the 96 car of Jake Saddleton. He's had a team change also. Another one of those SRM cars to now grace our presence on the racetrack.
Yeah, I was thinking that because I've seen Jake a couple of times, and I was looking and I was like, I'm pretty sure he was with SRM, and orange is a new colour for them as well. And we have indeed got the orange and black flavour, the Jaffa flavour of the SRM team out here tonight with Jake Saddleton, and that's a good signing. It's nice to see SRM really expanding the group, and they're also getting a lot of young drivers on board, sort of new talents from in the series as well, and working well with them too, which is just fantastic to see, and what we love to see from teams just ahead of them at the moment. Yeah, Daniel Johnson defending against Aiden Schultz.
I was just going to say, someone better duck down and tell his crew chief to let him know he shouldn't beat his team boss home in the first race.
That's always an awkward position to be in, isn't it? But Matty Ray just dropping a couple of positions at the start of this race. He had a decent qualifying up in P7, dropped down to P11 right here, but he's just sitting there, not pushing too hard in this early stage. Watch him come back a little later on. We're on lap 8 of 30, 22 and a half laps to go here tonight for the Weekend Warriors series, and we've had some good racing out there. Looks like just was that Brett Campbell just going slow. What's happened to Brett here in the Golden Octopus Foundation number 015? He's had a bit of a bit of a rough one on the exit of the bus stop. We'll see here, catches the curb, and then on the exit.
Just bringing up a replay now, mate.
Lovely, thanks. So it's a little.
Oh, lock up.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and straight off as he's coming onto the oval, and that is painful. So yeah, that's cost the 015 dearly. The beautiful looking 015, of course, a favourite of mine. No reason, of course. But yeah, rough night for Brett, and just not quite getting the pace that he wants at the moment in that car. Unlike Toby Stent, who is flying at the moment front of the field, fastest lap of a 1:20.5. Definitely the fastest car out there by a good half a second at the moment. Second fastest car on track at the moment is Daniel Hederscheid with a 1:21.1. Just behind him is Kai Turner in third position. He is keeping his nerve as he's battling against Darren McKenzie in fourth. You've got Ruben Phelps sitting in fifth position, and then Simon Hederscheid just behind him. These guys giving us a good little battle. A little bit further back is Lachlan Urquio. He's a little bit in no man's land at the moment, a bit on his own. Daniel Johnson in eighth is just keeping a nice gap ahead of Aidan Schultz behind him in ninth, and then it's Jake Saddington rounding out our Matty Ray rounding out our top 10 as Matty Ray gets through there into 10th spot.
Yeah, I think that word got down to his crew chief and he let the boss pass.
Oh, just as we were doing that little recap, Ruben Phelps has had a pig's ear of the bus stop. He just got on the brakes a little bit too late and has gone over that big, nasty blue sausage curb. You can see that there. And that is not going to be a comfortable ride.
No, and let's hope it hasn't done any damage. Because if you ride those sausage curbs hard, they tend to knock your steering around a little. But looks like he's okay.
Yeah, he's fallen back a little bit, though. He's just ahead of his teammate, Urquio, and he's fallen behind Simon Hederscheid at the moment. Urquio gaining on these two. Just a little bit further up, Mackenzie's starting to put pressure on Kai Turner now for P3, the final podium spot. And this race is looking pretty juicy between these two cars.
Most definitely is, mate. Sorry, I just thought I'd grab a mouthful of drink and you stopped talking just that fraction too soon.
It's a skill of mine. I have this ability to do that to my co-commentators, just to throw them off and underneath the bus, of course. But we are running along nicely here, and look, everybody's pretty settled. There's a good battle starting to happen now, a little bit further back between Matty Ray, Aidan Schultz and Jake Saddington. Matty Ray has started to switch on the... Well, put the pace up a little bit. He's starting to get the charge on. He's just got past Aidan Schultz. He's worked his way up to P9 now. And this is the Matty Ray that we know and love. The guy that just sort of takes it easy those first few laps and then all of a sudden will start attacking.
Well, this is going to really heat up because we got Daniel Johnson, Matty Ray, Aidan Schultz, Jake Saddleton, and now we have... Adam Malone getting closer and closer to this battle.
And don't discount the man behind Malone either, Jai Schultz. He's up into 13th position now, starting from pit lane, but he's setting some decent laps at the moment in the 27. So he is catching this group. He's got a lot of time to make up, but he will catch them if they start battling. So what we might do, Mark, is I'm just trying to find a good car to go on board with to get a bit of a look-see. Might go on board with just a little bit further back. Big lock-up for Aidan Schultz going into the bus stop there, and that's going to lose him position to Saddington, and it might lose him a spot to Adam Malone. Might jump on board with Adam Malone, though, and we're going to get a bit of a view of this battle ahead of us, but we'll also just go around the track. I'll just do a quick tour of the... Charlotte Roval. So we're coming up into the final corner here on the brake, second gear. You don't want to spin out the tyres too much. On to the start-finish straight. It's not much of a straight. Into turn number 1. Getting in here is tricky. Just got to get the car in nicely. Watch out for the wall on the outside. Turn number 2, very fast left-hander. Camber comes in, brings the car along. Watch out for the exit wall. through into turns 3 and 4. This corner is almost a double apex. It's a nice long lazy corner as you come into this nice little bit of straight. It's a bit of a leeway for you for a couple of seconds up to turn 5. Starts to climb up track now. You've got to be super careful at this point because turn 6 is where it can really catch you out. You've got to get in close to the wall, get through this corner, then through the dip of turn 7 up to turn 8 as you come around here, getting on to the oval itself. Watch out for that inside wall. It's very easy to clip it. Beautiful line there from Malone on to the oval course. We're through turn number 9 now, which will be turn number 1 of the oval, into turn number 2. Up towards the bus stop chicane, a very tricky left, right, left. In here, you want to take a bit of curve. Don't take too much curve. Nice little bit of curve on the exit, and then get your way out. Get on the power as quick as you can. Take a little bit of extra road onto the oval itself because there is a bit of a bump up there, and it can easily spin the car out. Through turn number 14 now on to the fast section, into the final set of corners, turns 15 and 16. Watch out for the inside curve. That blue curve will knock you out. Same on the exit there. Gets through there nicely. Now through to set another lap of the oval. Of Roval, I should say.
Just jumped on board the nose cam, mate. We might stay on the nose cam for half a lap and just let the people actually see how far out and these guys get. And you can see there on that turn that how high those blue ripple strips are. The sausage ripple strips.
Yeah, they are just deadly things. Those big sausage curbs. They really can destroy a car, and it's not too bad in some of the GT cars, some of the NASCARs. You know, they're a little bit less evil, but you know, in open wheelers, they can just rip a wheel off straight away, and that's the thing you got to be careful of. You just don't want to hit them too hard. You just got to get through there. You want to take as much curb as you can because that's going to save you time, of course. But if you get too much and if you brake too late, like we see here, it's very easy to go over one. Adam Line doing a good job of just avoiding that curb.
Yeah, definitely. And with Ann's car on Thursday night, we were at COTA, Circuit of the Americas, and they've also got an added disadvantage there, which I'm glad we don't have here at the Roval, is those big yellow nose cones. They can really hurt a car, but I think we're there in the second half of the season, so it'll be interesting to see how these boys handle that.
Yeah, everybody's favourite track, COTA. It's a tricky track. It's got some really good points on it. Like the Roval, though, there's some really fun corners here. But I always find the infield section here, just the turns 5, 6, and 7, that sort of uphill section of the track, it always catches me out. I can never get comfortable on this track, and it's just, yeah, it's one of those tracks that's low down on my list of favourite places. But it does give some good driving, and it really shows who has got the talent just to keep the cars planted and keep in a good position. And they're doing a good job at the moment, cruising through.
Just another new paint scheme I see here tonight. Adam Ariel, he's got his Whitey's Pies on board. They're a pie shop up there in Brisbane. I'm just not 100% sure on where. I think it's out towards Ipswich way, out that area. But yeah, so another nice livery there for Adam.
Yeah, it stands out nicely, and absolutely, if you can support any of these guys' sponsors, please do. It always helps them out and helps the series and helps everybody out in the long run. Just looking a bit further up the field, Ruben Phelps has just got past Simon Hederscheid because we had a bit of an SRM train there. Because they're all sort of running together at the moment. Lachlan Urquio, Maddie Ray, and Jake Saddington, 7th, 8th, and 9th at the moment. Simon Hederscheid, the car in the middle. Just noticed Jai Schultz, he's decided it's time to pit because we're on lap 15. We've got 15 laps remaining. He has decided it's time to come in now. He's going to come in, get the fuel done. Wonder if we did any tyre changes. No, he's just come in for fuel. So he's decided it's time to pit for fuel, get that tank topped up, and get the race split in half.
Yeah, definitely. The other person that while we were looking back there at Adam was Kobe Jordan. He's had an up and down week too. I've seen a post that he put up earlier in the week. Please let this week be over. So, mate, this is the last road course for a couple of weeks, but yeah, it doesn't get any easier for us before our Easter break, Carl. We are at Bristol next week, so from a road course to a nice little tight half-mile track.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be a tricky couple of weeks, but good little battle going on there between Kobe and Adam Ariel, and they've got Jai Schultz just behind him. Got a whole heap of cars coming in pit road at the moment. So a lot of people deciding it is time to come in, get that fuel. A few people changing tyres as well. I think Kai Turner has changed to a fresh set of boots. So he's decided he's going to get some new boots on that car and see how that one goes. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes on this outlap, being he's one of the few drivers to strap a set of boots on them. I think Aidan Schultz might have done as well, but Norman Clark, Paul Drady, Brad Fenley, Kobe Jordan looks like they've all... no, actually, that looks like they may be changing tyres as well. Toby Stent has come in pit lane as well. So he is currently cruising down pit road. And it's another thing that we should really mention here. Jump on board with Toby Stent, Mark, because this is going to be a tricky one for him, getting out of off pit road in the 189. It's a really tricky pit exit here. He's got fuel, that's it. But you've got this really tight turn. And when you qualify up to the front of the field in this on this track, you can sometimes just struggle to get the car out of pit lane. So Toby doing a good job there, getting out quite easily.
Just luckily we can drive through that pace car.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing is, if you have to go around that pace car, you almost have to light the car up and do a flick spin to get through that corner. It's so tricky. And I found sometimes, especially in I think it was the Indy car, I just could not, if I getting out of pit road on there, it's just so tricky because it's just such a tight corner. And it's so easy to make a mistake. Daniel Hederscheid going to come in this time around. So it looks like everybody's going to come down pit road, get some fuel put into the car. Not everybody changing tyres. So interesting to see who does, who doesn't, and what advantage that gives.
Yeah, we've seen on Thursday night in the ASCC race, I can't remember who won, but I know Andrew Dyson didn't take tyres. Look, that's it. He didn't take tyres, and he was able to close the gap just that little bit, but then those fresh tyres drove away from him.
Absolutely, yeah. Luke deciding to take tyres and Dyson not, and it made a difference at the end, just that little bit, and it was interesting to see.
I'm just wondering if Daniel's going to get a drive-through for that, because he did run over that blend line. So we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm just going back to have a little look at that, and he was right on the bubble.
He may have been safe, but yeah, it's a close one.
His tyres, you've got the two white lines and the blue line. He was on the blue line, so he was technically within it.
Yep.
But just about. So yeah, he was very, very close to getting a penalty with that one, I'm sure.
Yeah. So by the looks of it, Carl, we've got Toby back out in the front with a 6-second gap over Daniel Hederscheid, and Ruben Phelps has been able to work his way up in the third. But he's sitting a long way back. He's nearly 20 seconds back off the leader. Yeah,
that's it. He's got a long way to make up, and it's just going to be. There's a lot of work he needs to do, and I think those two Natari cars are looking pretty safe at the front of the field at the moment. You've got to say. Just be interesting to see what people can do to get back up there, and I think the battle for the other spots will be interesting to see, because there are a few cars that are in some interesting positions. I think the first car that's taken tyres is Kai Turner, so I'm going to be fascinated to see how the 408 does with Kai Turner, if he can monster that thing around on some fresh boots and actually start to gain time, because we've got 11 laps remaining here at Charlotte Roval. And if he can get a little bit more speed in that car, he could find himself battling nicely up to even possibly a podium position.
Yeah, definitely. Just looking at the times, Carl, Toby Stent's best lap, as we go back to him, is a 120.5. And now his last lap was only a 121.3. So probably a second a difference on those old tyres. But Kai Turner is his last lap was 121.8. So Toby is still circling quicker than the first guy on fresh tyres.
Well, he was until this lap. So Kai Turner just did a 21.8 compared to Toby Stent for 21.9. So that tells me that the fresh tyres have got a little bit of speed in them. And just waiting for, well, I mean, we'll see how it goes. Ruben Phelps, so he just set the fastest lap, 21.5. Then it was Lachlan Opio. So they're moving around a little bit out there. Going to be interesting, though, to see what Kai can do, because he's a little bit faster than Simon Hederscheid. Not quite up to pace with Lachlan. They're pretty much on the same pace, those guys.
Yeah, definitely.
So it'd be interesting to see.
Just running through another rookie, and I know this sounds funny. Simon Hederscheid, he's actually technically a rookie to the Warriors Lucas Oil's championship this year. So he's actually currently sitting in third spot for the rookies trophy for the year.
I'll have to get a season under my belt, Mark, so I can actually get the rookies title. But yeah, it's good to see him up there. It's nice to see the technically rookie championship working out, because they can give us some really good battles, and it makes for some interesting racing. And well, I don't know, maybe I might dust off the cup car and head out on track at some stage in the year.
Yeah, definitely.
Sometime around the Glen. That's the word I'm looking for.
The Glen, I think that's middle of the year this year, so a little bit different to last year where we always had the Glen around round 4. But again, this year we've decided to go run the Cup Series in reverse. That's why we started at Phoenix and end up at Daytona.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of my favourite tracks, and I did run it last year, so I guess jumping in again this year could be kind of fun. I have to do some rehab to get there, though. But yeah, could be a fun little one to have a run on. Battle between Kobe, Jordan, and Adam Ariel at the moment, a little bit further down. These two are battling their first a lap down. They've just fallen a lap down to the leaders, but they're still battling it out, and this is for 18th and 19th position. So it's still some good action on track, still throughout the field. It has started gapping a little bit everywhere else, so there's not too many cars close to each other at the moment, sadly.
No, we'll try and pick out battles as we go, Carl, and try and bring some good coverage of everyone in the race. We might jump back to Brett Campbell. It looks like he may have decided to park that car for the duration, I think. But he kind of sort of needs to get out and get 15 laps under his belt to be classed as a finisher. So let's hope he does get back out there.
Yeah, I can see. I think he's getting some big repairs done, because the front of that car took a big whack. So I think he's getting some repairs done. Maybe he's got some temperature damage in the Golden Octopus Foundation car. Of course, if you can help out with the Golden Octopus Foundation fighting cancer, and especially childhood cancer, fight like a kid, of course. And let's give cancer a bloody nose. And Brett Campbell representing that foundation perfectly in his car. And he'll be fighting, as he does.
Yep.
Back out there fighting away. Even when things look dire, he'll still keep on fighting in the 015.
I know that he's trying to organise a charity race later on in the year, and we here at Checker Flag can absolutely say that we will be broadcasting that race for him free of charge, and we're going to try and set up a fundraiser and see if we can get some dollars to them, because it is a great charity. And I know there are some other guys with charities on their car, and I will have to make a an effort to find out who they are, and that I'm pretty sure.
I know that SRM runs.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think Lockie's got a charity, but I just can't remember which one.
It's fighting. It's Tourette's Australia, I think it is. So it's for Tourette's, I think, with Lachlan Oakley. And I'm trying to think of the other one. It's always the tricky thing, isn't it? It's always the tricky thing. The Australian Alopecia Foundation as well. So, yeah, Tourette's Australia and the Australian Alopecia Foundation with SRM, of course, two worthy causes. And look, as we say, it's lovely that these guys put that little bit of extra effort in. And, you know, it's always the thing we say about charities is, you know, if you can't support them financially, then just help spread the word and help just help keep people informed of them as well, because, you know, all these little things can help and just help bring the world a little bit more recognition to these things.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, we can't forget, when I can find him, Darren McKenzie. He lost a son to cancer a few years ago, and we have a memorial race for Jake McKenzie, and this year we've gone back to Gateway Motors Speedway for that, so that'll be interesting there to see who wins that. Daniel Heddershire won that last year, so we'll see if he can go back to back.
What a feel good. It was tricky, but obviously it was just such a great win for the championship for Darren McKenzie that year. I mean, it was a horrible thing for him to go through, but he fought on, and, you know, he is a real fighter out there, and we love seeing Darren battling away out there, and of course keeping Jake's name out there. It's just a wonderful thing to do.
Yeah, we can see him struggling a little bit there. We've seen him come out of that last chicane, and yeah, it bounced nice and high over those blue sausage ripple strips.
I've got 6 laps remaining here, Mark, so we are very quickly getting to the end of this race, and it's breezed by. We've had some really good action out there. Kai Turner is catching Simon Heddershide at the moment, so that should be a little battle towards the end of the race, so we'll keep our eyes on that one, of course. Everyone else is pretty spread out. Daniel Johnson, Jai Schultz are relatively close together at the moment. Jai Schultz is plugging away nicely after starting from pit road, and he's managed to just get ahead of Daniel Johnson at the moment. Johnson still putting as much pressure as he can on them.
You can really see over that last ripple strip how high they get. I know Noddy Tompkins last year got some great air as he ran through that chicane, and yeah, unfortunately it looks like he's parked it for the night.
Yeah, we have lost Noddy Tompkins from this race. It looks like we've lost Brett Campbell. He's in pit lane again. Ross Chatham as well. He's sitting at the back at the moment, 3 laps down for Rogues and Sports, but having a decent run, just keeping the car safe, just keeping it out of trouble. Then 20th position is Paul Drady, 19th spot. We've got Adam Ariel, Kobe Jordan in 18th spot. As we run up the field, we head up to Mark Smith, currently in 16th position, with Brad Fenley sitting in 15th spot in the I always forget the name of the team. I shouldn't, because it's Aussie Beer Motorsport. It's an easy one to say, but whenever I look at it, my brain just always goes blank.
It's not like that Red Lion stuff, mate. That lion beer.
Brenton Henderson sits in 14th spot for SRM, with Darren McKenzie in 13th position. Just ahead of him is Aidan Schultz. This battle looks like it could start getting a little bit juicy in the very near future. We will keep an eye on that one for sure. As there he goes, as Darren McKenzie just gets past, looks like Aidan Schultz just decided just to lift him a little bit there. As we're heading up, it's Adam Malone next in line in 11th position. Then we've got Daniel Johnson in 10th spot. Jai Schultz has managed to get past and up into P9. Matty Ray's currently sitting in 8th spot. Then we have Jake Savington just ahead of his team boss there, doing a good job on debut. In 7th, then it is Kai Turner in 6th position. 5th spot is Simon Heddersheed, just keeping an eye on his mirrors at the moment. Lachlan Urquio just ahead of them as, curse of the commentator strikes there as we start talking about the 42, and immediately has to just cut across the bus stop there, and that could cost him a position. Simon is getting very close here, and through he goes as Urquio has to sort of slow down a little bit further back, actually. Similar things happen because Kai Turner has managed to get past Simon Heddersheed as well. Oh, big moment for Simon. He's caught one of those big blue sausage curbs in the bus stop, and around he goes. I wonder if we can catch a replay of that one, because he also gave Kai Turner a big punt on the front. No fault of his own. Nothing he could do in a situation like that. There you go. Just the car gets offsettled, round he goes, bang into the wad barrier, and then catches Kai. Looks like Kai's managed to get through relatively unscathed, but Simon's probably going to need to nurse that car home or come down pit road. Again. So yeah, big snap there. Round he goes, and then nose on, well, left front contact there for Simon Heddersheed and Kai Turner. And that's a big whack on the car. That was a nasty little collision there. They're both keeping it out there, though. And keeping it going at the moment. Just finish off running through the order. Up in P4, Lachlan Urquio. P3 is Ruben Phelps at the moment with Daniel Heddersheid in 2nd. And leading the race still is Toby Stent. 2 and a bit laps to go. We are very quickly coming to the end of the race here at the Roval. And it's been a nice, short, sweet race, Mark, but we had some good action.
Yeah, definitely. Again, Carl, I'm going to bring it up. I know I do bring it up week to week, but across the 3 leagues, we've had some great racing. The ASCC trucks here on Checkered Flag East Streaming, we've seen some great racing there. And then,
sorry, Mark.
Yep.
Just Kobe Jordan, he's had a big moment in turn 1. Just a lap or 2 ago, he has just locked it up and just been unable to steer it into turn 1, and a big hit into the Tums barrier. He's going to need a Tums for that one to settle his stomach from that big crash.
I've got a few things coming up here with Code.
It was on lap 25, there. If that helps. Yeah, this is the aftermath of it, so I might just need to rewind a little bit from that point. And there we go. So he's just taken a big smack into the barrier here. He's just looks like he's just missed his braking point, and then it's just locked up on him, and it's so easy to do for turn 1. Bang into the safer barrier. Luckily, though, it is a safer barrier, so that will stop it being so painful. But that's still a fairly hefty whack for Kobe Jordan.
Yeah, definitely not the way he would want to end this. And as we can see, go back live, he is in pit lane, and those front tyres are not looking healthy.
No, the suspension geometry on that car is not looking right. It's a little bit boss-eyed at the moment, isn't it? Not in the right position. There's a good battle going on at the moment between Jake Savington, Jai Schultz, and Daniel Johnson. These 3 cars very close to each other on track at the moment, giving us some good racing here towards the end. And Jai Schultz has had a really good recovery drive tonight. He's carved his way through the field and really put the pressure on. A little bit further back, it looks like Adam Malone and Darren McKenzie are having a good battle, as well as Darren McKenzie gets past Malone up into P11. So some good little fights still going on here. We've got 1 and a bit laps to go. It is quickly getting to the end. Won't be long until we see Toby Stent seeing that white flag flying for himself. And that's not for him to surrender. It's just to let him know that he is coming to the end of the race. White flag is out. The marshal is flying it, waving it with gusto. And Toby Stent has just got to go 3.5 kilometers now to get to the final part of this race. And I'm going to keep a little bit of an eye back, I think, on the Jake Savington, Jai Schultz, Daniel Johnson battle. But we'll keep our cameras on Toby Stent here, because he has had a pretty flawless race. He has just been he's just been driving with impunity tonight, just up at the front of the field. Very well driven from start to flag. he has gone, and looks like he might secure himself another victory here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just reading the comments. It's not something that I get the chance to do a lot because pushing buttons, and as you can see from the shots tonight, we have a lot of cameras to worry about here tonight. Almost as many as Matt on Thursday night. 41 he had. I think I'm up there, but not quite as many. And we can see Toby Cull coming around 3 and 4, or turn the circuit 3 and 4. We might jump back on.
And he's just about to cross the line and take victory here tonight at the Charlotte Roval. It is Toby Stent for Natari taking victory here with Daniel Hederscheid coming across the line in P2. Good run for those guys. Just looking back, it's Ruben Phelps next to cross the line, taking on a podium for himself. Another strong drive for Ruben this week. He's going to be pretty chuffed with that one, I'm sure. Lachlan Oakwood in fourth. Solid run for Lockie. He'll be pretty happy with that one. Kai Turner looks like he's going to secure himself fifth position, with Simon Hederscheid, as long as he makes it through this corner, in sixth spot. Matty Ray in seventh. Jake Saddington has managed to keep the pressure off from Jai Schultz, and he'll take the line and cross it in P8 here tonight, just behind team leader Matty Ray. Jai Schultz coming home in ninth position with Daniel Johnson securing his top 10 finish. Darren McKenzie gets 11th spot as he crosses the line. So some good racing here tonight, Mark. We've seen some good driving, which is always what we love to see, and some fair driving as well.
Yeah, definitely some great driving. But I've got to ask the question: who can stop these Natari boys? They just seem to be that next level. We may have to look at putting some penalty weight into their cars, I think.
Well, that's it. They've been having some really good runs in the Warriors series, which is always something we like to see. And, Toby Stent has been having a stellar year this year. It's definitely not his first year in the Weekend Warriors series, but seems since joining Natari, he's just stepped up to a different level. Yeah,
definitely. I know he's having a great run in the New Zealand New Zealand Cup cars too. So the three series that he is in, he's having some great races there. While we we'll bring up the results for you.
So let's run through the order. It was Toby Stent taking the victory here tonight ahead of Daniel Hederscheid, 20 seconds ahead of Ruben Phelps, the next car in line. SRM having another strong night tonight. Lachlan Urquio in P4. Kai Turner having a really good run for the K-Tech Motorsports team in fifth spot with Simon Hederscheid in sixth position. Matty Ray comes home seventh. Jake Saddington in eighth. Jai Schultz in ninth. Solid run for Jai, starting from pit lane, remember. May say positions gained just -1. But he had to make his way past pretty much the whole field. So a really good job from him tonight. Daniel Johnson will bring it home in 10th position. As we roll over the line, it is Darren McKenzie in 11th with Adam Malone in 12th. Aidan Schultz brings it home in 13th with Brenton Henderson 14th. 15th is for Brad Fernley. Norman Clark 16th. 17th, Mark Smith. Adam Ariel 18th. Paul Drady in 19th and 20th for Ross Chatham. As we go over the pages, Kobe Jordan in 21st position after taking a big bite out of the wall, with Brett Campbell 22nd and 23rd for Noddy Tompkins.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing there for Noddy, he's the only one that didn't make 50% of the race, so he's going to be not classified as finishing the race, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, rough night for Noddy Tompkins. So just going back to see sort of what happened to him. He had a big accident coming through the first set of corners. Just clipped one of those big blue sausage curbs, and I think he ripped off the right front suspension. So I think that's what caused his night to be over so soon, unfortunately. And I don't think he could do much getting the car out of the pit lane after that one.
While we're waiting for the boys to come up into the green room, mate, I'll just bring up the information for next week. Next week's race, as you can see, is Bristol. expecting a full field there for next week. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Absolutely. Should be a fun race indeed. But the virtual motorsport meant 110-kilometre race here at the Charlotte Roval has come to an end before we head to Bristol. And some of those drivers might just want to quickly head over to Virtual Motorsport Mentor and just ask a couple of questions and just get a few tips and tricks for some of these courses just to help them in the future. It's one thing I always say to drivers, it's never bad to ask for help here and there because everybody is learning, even the ones that win constantly, they all learn these new little things here and there. So it's well worth getting a little bit of help anywhere you can. And Virtual Motorsport Mentor definitely a good starting place for sure. Mark, well, we've got some drivers sitting in the green room. We might start with bringing up our third place man for SRM, the 06 of the Flying Kiwi himself, Mr. Ruben Phelps. Ruben, welcome to the booth, mate. Congratulations on a podium here at Charlotte Roval.
How's it going? Another talking session on a road course.
I know, I keep talking to you recently on road courses. It's just becoming a bit of a habit for you, isn't it?
Oh, exactly. But no, we're definitely, I'm definitely improving. But for whatever reason tonight, I just could not get those front tyres to work, and they just weren't gripping up. But still, I managed to get that pit frequency right with my strategy, and obviously still got to back up to third, and all the other guys behind started making mistakes. And but there was also a couple of incidents from me as well that I sort of got away with. But not too bad.
Now, we did see you just getting a bit of a lock-up through one of the bus stops, I think it was earlier in the race, of course, and things like that gets the old heart racing, but getting back in there and just almost relaxing, getting back to speed, that's always the key point, and looked like you managed that pretty well tonight.
Well, exactly. I've just, obviously, once I knew I had a bit of a gap, I just tried to back off as much as possible, but like I said, the front tyres just was not like doing its thing, especially in that last part of the race. I don't know why, or actually, to be honest, with the whole race, the front tyres, I was using a few more muscles than I would have preferred to be using, but at the end of the day, I still got this, and third place it is.
Absolutely, and one of only 3 drivers to get it in the 1 minute 20 as well for the lap time. So you obviously had some good pace out there.
Well, exactly. Now, for some reason, the last two, the second to last lap seems to always be the fastest one. It happened in the ASCC Coda race the other day, and again, that was the second to last lap, and then the fastest lap of the race, second to last lap on this track. So that answers something.
Not a bad thing to have happen. It's just consistently getting those fast laps string together all race long. That's the hard part.
Oh, exactly. And also on top of that, freaking the same top 3 for day week in, week out as at the moment.
Yeah, championship wise, it must be pretty tricky looking at the championship results because the 2 Natari drivers of Stent and Heddersheet seem to be pretty much constantly there.
Well, exactly. They're definitely the class of the field, and again, if you have strategy or cautions, which you're obviously not going to get on a road course, that changes everything. But when it comes to a green flag run, and you're just sort of having to run laps after lap after lap, of course it's just going to take a long time to get to them. But you've got to pull your head out the bag and somehow get to them. But I mean, they're doing their thing, and everybody else is trying to catch up. So it just is what it is.
No, absolutely, Ruben. Obviously, we're going to be heading to Bristol next time out. So a slightly different track, and look, a track that lots of people enjoy. How are you feeling for that one?
Yeah.
that much love for the track. Okay, that's good to hear.
I don't mind it. It's just, you can either be really good at it or you can make multiple mistakes. There's no happy place unless you can really make it happen. But yeah, it's sort of I'll be happy running it, but as long as I'm running good, then I'll be happy. And then what happens? I'll be fuming over the radio or something if I can't.
No, absolutely. Well, hopefully we'll get to speak to you next week. But before I let you go, Rubes, the usual thing, shout out and love to all those sponsors and, of course, teammates and, anyone else you'd like to say hello to tonight.
Firstly, I'll thank you guys for putting the broadcast on. Of course, SRM Australia, Matty Ray, Lockie, Brenton Henderson. Of course, Russell's around somewhere, but he'll be back soon, hopefully. Noddy. And, of course, we've got our 2 new teammates of Jake Saddington and, of of course, Nathan Roller should be coming back too, so hopefully next week. So he'll be rejoining, and of course, mobile brake and mechanical repairs, and Brenton's his charity of Australia Alopecia, and of course Lockie's TS Tourette's, and of course his work also, Murphy's Mitre 10 and Moondog.
Thank you so much, Ruben. Congratulations on a podium tonight. Hopefully we'll see you back in the booth for Bristol.
Yeah, we'll do.
Ruben Phelps at SRM P3 tonight. Next up, we're going to grab our second place man, Mr. Daniel Heddershide. Daniel, welcome to the booth, mate. Congratulations on a solid P2 tonight here at the Roval.
Yeah, I guess it was a solid P2. It was a pretty lonely race, to be fair. Just couldn't get the car switched on the cold tyres, and Toby sort of took off a bit and then sort of maintained pace behind him until the pit stop, and then, yeah, I sort of decided I wasn't going to get anywhere after that, so just sort of tuned out a bit and drove it home.
Absolutely. I was going to say, yeah, it was a bit of a lonely race for you boys up the front. You sort of saw each other just disappear, and then nobody else appeared for you for the rest of the race.
No, the biggest problem was I just getting through the guys out the back, just getting the lap work done, but got through that all pretty clean. So yeah, solid race, pretty non-eventful. Yeah, nothing happened, but yeah, I'll take it.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure you would have preferred to have been maybe one step ahead of your teammate though tonight, because this season seems to be a very strong race between yourself and Toby.
Yeah, I think I need to start winning a few more, to be honest. Like I wasn't even sure if I was running tonight. It was my kid's birthday today, so I thought it could go two ways. So I jumped on pretty late, so I didn't get a lot of time to practice, and it's not one of my preferred tracks. So yeah, I'll take a solid P2 tonight.
Oh, well, I mean, it gives you a nice thing to shout out for as well. So that's always a nice one. But yeah, without much practice as well, finishing 10 seconds ahead of your closest rival, that's a fairly decent run here at the Roval.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like those guys behind looked like they were having a bit more of a fight. It looked actually quite exciting. Maybe I should have slowed down and had a bit of a race with them to keep me awake. But nah, it's always good, like being on the podium, even if it's a boring race.
Now, look, congratulations. Before I let you go, though, quick talk on next week. We're heading to Bristol, and slightly different track, very different short track there. How are you feeling going into that round?
Not great now that you told me it's Bristol. It's sort of one of my bogey tracks at the moment, so maybe I'll try and get a bit of practice in and see. I'm just too hard out on the tyres there, so I need to find something. Coming into Darlington last year, I was feeling the same, and then I got my head around there and I love the track now. So once I can click and work out how to drive it properly, I think I'll be fine. But yeah, I think Toby's really strong there, so probably be another P2 if I'm lucky.
You might have to just get a little bit of rubbing. Just give him a little bit of a nudge here and there. Just
give him a
bit
bump, you reckon? Yeah, why not?
Nothing wrong with that between teammates. Look, before we let you go, the usual thing, shout out, and of course, if you want Toby to do the big shout out for all the other sponsors, but personal sponsors and personal people, give a shout out for.
Yeah, shout out to the old man. He jumped in tonight. He wasn't planning on racing, and he had a pretty solid result. I think he had a good chance at a P3, just a bad pit stop and a couple of mistakes at the end. But other than that, I mean, yeah, solid result, P6, starting 11th. And you guys showing up, doing the broadcast, it's great. In the series, it's looking like it's going to be quite a interesting season going for this championship.
No, absolutely, and well, happy birthday to your little one as well, and congratulations, Daniel. Well done tonight on a solid P2, and I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth soon.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Daniel Heddershide for Atari, and finally, we're going to grab up the 189, the Kiwi over in Japan. It is Mr. Toby Stent. Toby, welcome back to the booth, mate. You're making a habit of being up here, and especially in the number one spot.
Hey, yeah. Yeah, that wasn't too bad, was it? It was a bit boring, but yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I don't think my paint showed up properly, so I'm probably pretty disappointed about that more than anything. I had a nice fancy paint, and it doesn't look like it's worked. So.
Oh, trapped, yeah, because we have your standard Atari paint job on there at the moment.
Yeah, so it hasn't worked, damn it. So that's not great. But no, it was all good. To be honest, there was some pretty shonky driving that I had to deal with. So yeah, I'm pretty unimpressed with people, but it is what it is. So.
Oh, so we saw a couple of times you just getting past lap cars and just had a couple of close moments. I mean, that obviously adds a little bit to something happening in the race. But other than that, it was a pretty solid run out there. You sort of finished 9 seconds ahead of your teammate there. You definitely seem to have just the go on this track.
Yeah, I do enjoy it. I do really like these cars on the road courses. Like, I really love driving them. I'm not the fastest by any means, right? Like, so there's definitely a lot of people way faster than me, but I do enjoy this track and this car as well. I love this car on road courses. So, no, it was all good. And me and Dan were just sort of, not going too hard at the end, I suppose. So, he sort of, if he had it pushed on, he probably would have been a bit closer than that. So it's probably not relative to what his pace was. But no, it was all good. Like I said, I really enjoy driving this car on these tracks. So it was enjoyable, just sort of cruising around and trying to not make mistakes. It's the key, right? So yeah, it's all good.
No, absolutely, and you just had the fastest lap snatched away from you just towards the end there. You almost got the trifecta though, pole position and the race win though. Start to finish, it sort of looks like a fairly cruisy, easy run for you, and it wasn't, not saying it was, but it definitely wasn't the hardest run out there.
No, I was pushing on. Like, I was pushing pretty hard the whole time. Like, it wasn't just cruising. Like, I wasn't taking any risks or anything, but I definitely wasn't. It wasn't just strolling around on a Sunday drive. I was sort of going as hard as I could every lap. So, you got to keep the concentration up, right? So as soon as you start sort of wandering off, then that's when you start snatching brakes, and it's really easy to lock a brake in these cars, and then you plow on. And this track in particular, if you plow on through one of the chicanes, you get a slowdown, and so that just makes it 10 times as bad. So, just kept pushing on at the comfortable pace I was driving at, and I'm just looking at the times now. So it looks like I think Darren took tires maybe, right? Because he dropped way down. So I guess you get the bonus. Is it a bonus point for a fastest lap? It is, isn't it? So you get 1 point, but you lose 6 positions or whatever. So maybe not worth it. But...
Well, saying that, did you think about taking tyres at the end, or
no? You don't take tyres in these cars on the road courses. Me and Dan did it in Anne's car just because we were so far off the leaders, and we just thought, screw it, we'll just take a Hail Mary, and maybe the lowered tyre pressures in the front might give us something, but it didn't work. We just dropped back and we caught like a little bit every lap. But no, you don't need to take tyres in these length races. Only when you've got full tanks and a full tyre run would you even need to worry about taking tyres.
But speaking of taking tyres, next week's going to be a different story. We're at Bristol, and we've already heard from Dan that he might not be feeling too confident for a win there, but he knows somebody that will probably go quite well, and that's being you.
I don't know about going well. I do. I don't know. I just enjoy all these tracks. They're all a challenge, so I don't really go to any of these tracks and think, oh, this is a drag, bloody Bristol this week or whatever. It's just sort of the next challenge, right? So I'll just do my best, and there's some handy guys hanging around, so it's by no means easy. So, and obviously Bristol as well, such a tight, small track. Lapped cars will be an issue as well, so you can easily get caught up in something completely not of your doing as well. So, no, we'll see. I haven't even thought that far ahead. I'll just take it one step at a time. So I've got a league race on Wednesday at Coda again, and then obviously Anne's car at Richmond, and then focus will go on to Bristol, and we'll see how we go. So.
No, look, absolutely. Best of luck at Bristol. I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth very, very soon. But congratulations on the win tonight, extending the lead a little bit in the championship as well. But before we let you go, the usual thing, the shout out for all the sponsors and all of your personal shout outs as well, Toby.
Yeah, well, I didn't have the right paint, so I didn't have the golden octopus sticker on the back of the car, which is a bit of a bugger. So I'll have to shout that one out now. It's a Child Cancer Research Foundation. So if anyone's got a spare chance to look that up on Google, and if you can spare a bit of change, obviously that'd be much appreciated from everybody there. And then obviously just the usual Natari sponsors, because I had that paint on the car tonight. So Natari, AJD, Turbo Alpha Japan, and myself with M2 Sim Racing, and Fully Flawed with Dan. That's Dan's company, so a big shout out to Dan. And hopefully my car's showing the right paint next week, and we can show off everybody.
No, we look forward to that one. Toby Stent, congratulations on the win tonight. Good luck for the next week coming, and I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth real soon.
Yeah, thanks guys, and thanks for the broadcast as well. Appreciate you guys lots.
It's Toby Stent there for Natari. Hopefully you'll have the proper paint next time out, Mark. But we're done for tonight. We've got early doors. We can head off, have a nice drink, have a relax, and have a bit of a breather.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Look, we reduced the race down because we didn't think we'd get the cars. So, but we ended up with a reasonable turnout, 23 drivers turning up. So, yeah, congratulations to our top 3. And next week, Bristol. I'm not sure whether it's under lights or an afternoon race. I just can't remember offhand. So either way, it's going to be an interesting race.
No, absolutely. The good thing about getting on, Mark, I think it's come as a surprise to you.
That's it.
Of course, if you want to catch some more action from Virtual Motorsport, keep tuned to Checkered Flag eStream and make sure to hit that subscribe button as well, because on Monday night we have got the Truck Series, and that's coming to you from the ASCC League, of course, and that will be bringing us at Richmond.
Yeah, that's going to be another one, interesting one. Richmond's gotten rather bumpy in spots there that we've seen earlier on in the year from a few different races. So it'll be interesting to see who turns up and who can dominate that.
Absolutely. We hope you can join us for that one. And as I said, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button as well, because it all helps the channel just reach a few more new eyes, things like that. But Mark, anything else you want to add for tonight?
No, mate. Just thanks for everyone tuning in. And it finally looks like we may have our little technical gremlins sorted. So let's hope we can move forward and not have any more issues this year.
Absolutely. It takes a few weeks. It takes a little bit of time to get used to the old streaming stuff, especially broadcasting of sim racing. It's not an easy task to do, but you're coming along just fine. But I will say, for myself, Mr. Carl Wilkinson with you, and of course, Mr. Mark Johansson, will wish you all a lovely night, and we will see you back here next Saturday for Bristol, and hopefully you can join us Monday night for the trucks.